Alright, so today we're going to be going over how to make landing pages with AI that can actually scale your Facebook ads. We're going to be going over the different types of landing pages, the ways to implement this into your business. I'm going to be demonstrating exactly how to implement this, and as well as giving you guys a prompt that you can use to do this a lot faster. And I'll be showing you exactly what tools that I use when I'm doing this. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. So the first thing we're going to actually look at is the different types of landing pages and a couple examples. So most people actually run landing pages like this and they don't convert. And the reason for that is because people would just send traffic to a regular product page, this basic Shopify product page. And if we look at this ad over here, it talks about skin being clear and the routine for skin being being cut down to one step instead of being multiple various steps and being complicated. But when it goes from this ad over here, it doesn't talk about anything in the ad. It doesn't talk about being quicker. It doesn't talk about being clearer skin. It just talks about buy, buy. And when we come down here and we actually take a look at a pretty good funnel and a good landing page, then we can see what the congruence is between the ad all the way to the landing page. And I want you guys to notice something very specific about this page. It doesn't just go from this ad, which is about more energy, the different type of fuels, etc., to a straight product page and just plaster people with buying. What it does is it keeps people in the same state that they're in from the ad to the page that they land on. So the ad talks about more energy and electrolytes and what the other products out there are missing. And what this does over here, right when they click, they get to a landing page or a listicle that is about the same thing. It talks about more energy and why these energy in the ad, it talks about why these energy drinks are bad, and then on the landing page it also talks about why these energy drinks are bad and why you need to switch to this product because it's a better solution. And each point talks about the mass desire of the customer instead of just going straight into buying. And then eventually you hit the call to action and they have 67% off, because that's obviously that whole 6-7 stuff is trending right now. But then it goes to the product page, and that's when they give more of an offer and more of an incentive to actually buy, instead of just going straight from the ad about more energy, why energy drinks are bad and why this is better. And it doesn't go just straight to this. It talks about why this is better, and it keeps the customer with them longer. The longer you can have your customer with you, then the more likely they're going to actually buy from you. And if we actually take a look at the reasons that these convert, which is what we're going to be going over, which is the reasons that these convert, the 4 types of landing pages, how to create these for your business. If we look at the reason that these convert, then we look at the 5 stages of awareness, right? And this is which most people do by now, if you've been doing e-com and you actually have a business that's running. But if you don't, 5 stages of awareness are from Eugene Schwartz's breakthrough advertising book. And these 2 ads are both solution aware, so they know there's a solution to their problem, but they don't know of any specific product to solve it. So for example, this ad is a solution aware ad, and this is also a solution aware ad. But the key difference between both of these is that this one just goes into a product page. It doesn't keep them in that solution aware. So what it does is you want to get your customer to a most aware state. You want to get them to, from wherever they're at, if they're unaware, problem aware, solution aware, you want to get them to a most aware state. What this does over here is it takes them from solution aware and it automatically takes them to most aware, but in an incorrect way. So we can't go from a solution aware ad to a most aware page. And this over here actually takes them from solution aware to solution aware again, or product aware, depending on if they're like, okay, this is a cool product from the ad, but now they need more. So what this does is it keeps them in a solution aware state, takes them through a product aware state, which is when you handle objections, and then they finally, by the end of this, you get them to a most aware state where they are ready to buy from you. Now, most aware, it means that they just haven't gotten around to purchasing it. They want it, but they just need an offer. They need some sort of offer and incentive to buy. So, they have try it risk-free, they have a special offer, and then they click on the page, and then they get to the product page, which is the most aware page, and then they have an even better offer. So you're kind of plastering them over here with why they should buy and why they should, and them being in a most aware state, they're going to actually want, what you have here. And that's the key difference between both of these. And a great way to think about this is from the book Great Leads. It talks about if it's a most aware prospect, you want a more direct approach. So if it's a most aware prospect, you can send them right to a product page. That's no problem. But most of the time when we're selling to cold traffic, they're typically unaware, problem aware, solution aware. So we want to be a little more indirect. These are solution aware, and I'll get into which pages are for solution aware, which pages are for problem aware, and all of that. But we don't want to be extremely direct. Like when they're solution aware, we don't want to go straight into a most aware page. We want to get them to another solution aware page and bring them through and get them all the way from solution aware to most aware, or wherever they're at to most aware. All right, so now we're actually going to get into the 4 types of landing pages, and we're going to start with advertorials. So advertorials, I like to actually think of them as more unaware to problem aware. That's kind of like a general rule of thumb. It doesn't mean they can't be used for like solution aware. I've seen it before, but generally speaking, I typically see it for more unaware to problem aware audiences. And the advertorial just basically warms them up from the ad. So this one is about dog dementia. So if a dog has, if somebody's dog has dementia, it's a very problem aware audience. They've probably, they probably need some more information instead of just trusting something, because especially people, when it comes to their dogs, they're going to be a little bit more skeptical. It's a little bit more sophisticated. But when it comes to advertorials, they're a little bit harder than like a listicle, for example, or a regular product page. Much harder than that. But the great thing about it is when you get it, then it absolutely prints for you. So that's the advertorial. It basically will just take the customer from that unaware to problem aware state, and if you do it right, it'll move them through all the awareness stages up until they're most aware, because you really put them in that emotional state, especially when it's something like extremely like has a very big pain behind it, a very big deep desire behind it. Then they'll absolutely, this will absolutely resonate with them and click. And the brands that actually crack this and use this right absolutely just print money. And I'm going to show you in a bit how to do this a lot easier with AI, so stay tuned for that. So next we're going to be looking at listicles. Listicles to me are a little more solution aware to problem or product aware, So listicles, when it comes to that, I see it for more like products that are, everybody knows that there's products for it. So, which is why I put like a testosterone booster, for example. Everybody knows about test boosters and supplements and TRT and all that good stuff. But this right here goes from an ad about, boosting TRT or boosting tests without TRT to actually coming to a listicle about why this new testosterone coffee booster is what men need, etc., etc. So it takes them from where they're at already to this listicle over here, and that'll really push them again through the awareness levels. And then next we have quiz funnels, which are absolutely have been crushing it for a while now. Quiz funnels, I see them used for all the way from unaware to solution aware. It just really depends on how you do it. So a quiz funnel, depending on the type of copy you use, can really be for any awareness stage. For example, if it's a unaware prospect and you have something like a dog product, you can say something like, hey, has your dog been laying down more than usual, or something like that. Or problem aware, does your dog have dementia? Or solution aware, have you tried any previous solutions or products for your dog? Quiz funnels are great, and they'll really warm up somebody, and it could really put them into the state they need to be in to buy. Especially with problem aware, I've noticed that a quiz funnel is great because it really agitates that problem that they have. So with problem aware audiences, you really want to agitate the problems. And if you want to learn more about like problem aware and solution aware and all this, and sophistication levels, there's going to be another video that I want you to watch after. It's going to be the market awareness masterclass that I have, and that'll really go in depth about the different awareness levels and how to actually use them for your business. But make sure you finish watching this one, because this one is going to be a banger. Lastly, we have PDPs. And these are just your regular product pages, which is the most aware. PDPs are great, okay, but there's a time and a place for them. They should not be used for every single ad you have. They're very general. They're not going to push a sale. And a lot of times the brands I see that are struggling to scale past a certain number are only using a PDP. And even if they're not, most of their traffic is still going to the PDP. And the PDP is so general that we can't just send everybody there, because we want to personalize things. Gary Halbert, one of the legendary copywriters, in the Born Letters, talks to his son about, the concept of personalizing mail at the time, which was direct mail. We want to personalize everything to our customer as much as we can, because we're speaking to a large group of people, but we can still personalize it to their problem, to what they're experiencing, and product pages just don't do that. So they're for a most aware customer who already knows what you have, what you are, and like you're targeting them to push them to buy because they already tried to, or they already looked at your stuff, they know who you are, they want to buy, they just need that little push, and that's what the product page is for. The next thing we're going to be looking at is how to actually find these landing pages to replicate, and we want to find ones that are actually scaling, because we want ones that are already in demand. And the way I do this is by going to Trend Track, and when it comes to actually replicating these pages, before I show you, we want to find other niches selling to the same customer as us. So they want to be selling to the same awareness level, or a similar one, or a similar sophistication level, but the main thing is we want to find other niches selling to the same customer as us. An example of this would be if we're selling a testosterone supplement to men 40 plus, we want to think, what other niches sell to men 40 plus? And a great one is the hair loss market. They have the same audience who's struggling with this problem, but they have different ads than us. And the reason we do this is because we don't want to look like everybody else. If we steal from everybody else, we're going to look like everybody else in our market. We want to steal from other people that our market, that don't sell the same product as us. And if we sell the same thing that our competitor is selling, we're just going to look like the competitor. Then at that point, you start competing on price and competing on all these other things that hurt your revenue and hurt your margins. And we don't want to do that. So we're going to go over here and we're going to go into Trend Track. So once you're in Trend Track, you're going to come over to Shops, and then I have some filters that I typically use that I'll show you guys. Traffic, I do between 100,000 to 200,000 visitors a month. Traffic growth, I always put rising and 10%, so there's that growth. Visitor country, United States, because that's what most people use when they're actually scaling, or we want most people to use when they're scaling. The language to English, the currency to USD. The app, I just use Klaviyo, and then I use a Metapixel. And then I'll go through here and I'll take a look at some of the brands over here. And for example, I don't just stick to like one specific brand or one specific niche. I'll try to look at if these would be selling to the same customer as me. So if I was selling to women, maybe 30 plus or something, I would maybe take a look at this, for example, and then we'll go over here, we'll go to meta ads, and then we can actually see what their landing pages and everything like that. And then we can click into one of these, and this one goes straight to a product page. We can click into this. It's probably going to go to the same page. Oh, nope. This one actually goes to a little bit more of a sales page. It seems like more of brand content. This one goes to Amazon. So I probably wouldn't really look at this unless, I look more into it and then I finally find an advertorial. And then here's actually something that they use. They use clinically proven 24-hour hydration and dry sensitive skin. And what I do like about this is that it goes straight into talking about hydration from sensitive skin. So it's very congruent with the ad over here and why it matters. Obviously, this isn't, one that I would copy. I would definitely put a little bit more, but that's exactly how I go about it. And I'll try to just find one over here for you guys to show you. So I actually found this one called Strawberry. If you go into their ads over here, they're running a lot of native ads. And if you click over here, it goes into this page, which is a little advertorial. And you can see this doesn't even look that great. This is made using Shrine theme with Shopify. You can tell by the widgets and everything like that. And I'm sure it'll probably looks a little bit better on mobile, but that's exactly how you would find it. So say I was selling to the same customer, which they're probably selling to women. And if I was selling to women who have a certain issue and it's not the same as, skincare, and it's like pain, for example, but it's the same type of audience, then I would come over to this and I would look at this and take this to our actual swipe file to actually use and replicate. Now I've also got a prompt over here for you guys that we'll go into. So this will actually replicate the landing pages for you using the awareness levels, the sophistication, and the mass desire of the customer. So what exactly this means is that it will take your ad, it will take your brand, and whatever ad you are running and whatever landing page you want, it'll create that for you based on your customer, where they're at in the funnel. So everything will be congruent, so you're not just going to a random page that has nothing to do with your ad. But what you have to do for this, and I made it a little easy, is you have to just put your inputs here. So you're going to give them the reference link, and I'll show you exactly how to do this. So we're going to go up here, we're going to make a copy, and we're going to just replicate that landing page that I found over here, this little advertorial. So we're going to replicate this, and we'll just take the link up here, we'll paste it in here, and we're going to just fill this out real quick. So give me 1 second. All right, so I filled this out over here. I put the reference page. I'm just acting like I'm selling a foot massager to women 40 plus, and I'm putting the angle that I'm actually targeting with this page, which is bunion pain. And what we want to do is, we don't want to put a bunch of different angles in one page. We don't want to put every angle in one page. We want one main idea for each page, and we're going to target bunion pain, for example, for this page. This is just a random one that I thought of, and we're going to put the awareness level. We're saying this is problem aware. We want an advertorial. I don't have any of these, so I just put none for these, but you would fill out what you have. And then what you're going to do is you're going to copy this, and then we're going to actually go into Claude over here. So once we're in Claude, I actually like to create a project, and typically what I'll do here is I'll put research that I have and everything like that into here, and I'll put my landing page. I'll like take a little PDF file of my landing page and actually put it in here, so it kind of understands my brand a little bit more, my research more, and who buys from me and everything like that. So after that, you just paste this right in here, and it has all your inputs if you filled it out from here, and then you just hit enter. I'm using Opus 4.8, so we're gonna wait for that to get done. All right, so this is finally done now, and it's actually not too bad. Typically, if you have all the inputs, you would fill all that out, and these call to actions would go straight to your website. But what you're gonna do here is you're going to actually press on this button right up here with Claude, and then you're just going to copy all this, and then we're gonna go into Funnelish. And if you don't know what Funnelish is, it's just a funnel editor. You don't have to use it, but I personally like it just because that's what I use to create pages for people I work with, and it's a lot faster to actually paste things in. You could use Gem Pages, another Shopify page editor. I personally like Funnelish. I think it has a lot more capabilities and it's a little bit more simple, but you can do what you want. So you're going to just paste all that stuff in here, and then you're going to hit save changes, and then we're going to press on that, and then we're going to save the changes over here, and then we're going to hit preview up here, and just like that, that's all pasted in. All right, anyway, so we went ahead and we pasted everything into Funnelish, into the custom HTML. We went and previewed it, and this is how it looks. What we would also do if I had everything, then I'd put the actual product photos and the pictures that I want to have over here. But overall, this looks pretty freaking good, right? So if you're wondering what you should test first, then I would take what is currently working and I'd create a landing page based on those mass desires. And what's great about this is you can actually increase your conversion rate by a lot by doing this, because if your traffic is just going to a product page right now or whatever, and you test an actual landing page around those winning ads, then you can increase your conversion rate by a ton. And I've seen this work a million times, and it is going to continue to work, because not that many people are doing it, because not that many people have the time to do it, right? So here's an example of this with Groons. Is they talk about hair loss, and then they go to a landing page about hair loss. It's a listicle over here as well, and they do this with pretty much all of the angles that I have seen them run. They have custom landing pages for each one. And the more you could test, and the more winning ads that you can create winning landing pages to, then the more money you're going to make. You can also try to create new concepts and new angles and test those as well. And this is another way to do that. But the thing that holds a lot of people back is actually creating good copy and actually being able to write good copy and knowing that you wrote good copy. And that's exactly what I help people with. Typically I'll work with brands doing, 30K plus a month in revenue, and I'll actually help them get to those 6 figures per month, multi 6 figures per month, even 7 figures per month even. But if that's you and you need help and you want to basically save time and have all of this done for you, where I basically take your winning ads and I take everything that you need, I write the copy for you, I create the landing pages for you, and I actually find new winning angles for you that actually pushes them to buy, then you can click the first link in the description, or you can go on Instagram and just message me the word scale and we can talk from there. If you're looking for the prompt, you can also DM me on Instagram, just DM me the word prompt and I'll send that over. And if you need both, just DM me both words and then we'll go from there. So that's gonna be all for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you watch the market awareness masterclass to see exactly how these awareness levels work and how to implement them into your business. But that's gonna be all for today, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.